Todd Feinburg Show, live from the NJ Diet Studios on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We'll do more on Springsteen, because that's a really interesting topic. It is. $5,000. Can you imagine paying that to see Bruce? I used to get offended at $12.
Never.
Just to hear
Never. I would never do that.
But right now, Rob Sampson is here, state senator from Wolcott. Hello there, Rob.
Hello there, Todd. You are my favorite again, by the way.
What happened?
Tom was edging you out for a little while, but no, you're back in the saddle.
Really? Well, that's good.
His comments about price gouging and so forth, boy. I'd love to come have a chat with you guys on that subject one of these days. I think we need a refresher course for Connecticut residents and some radio DJs about capitalism and the value of freedom over force.
One of the things that that makes Tom so much fun to listen to is that he's ready to jump off a cliff that suddenly appears long before his conscious mind has a chance to consider the possible repercussions. And that's what he did on the price gouging. That was just a reflexive answer.
No, you guys are both amazing and great, and I appreciate everything you do, and I'm really just teasing. But it does concern me when there's any sort of suggestion that somehow just having a profit motive is something that is unsavory in America. Because we are the beneficiaries of living in the greatest civilization in all of mankind's history, and that's a direct result of capitalism, unfettered capitalism.
And what activity do humans engage in which there is not some kind of profit being looked for? It might not be a monetary one, but we are transactional creatures, and we often are nice to other people just so they'll be nice to us back. We hold doors for people. One of the most ridiculous practices. We are almost religious about the need to hold open a door for somebody behind us, to the point where we get offended if somebody doesn't open a door for us. But it's like a meaningless gesture. Why don't we get upset about things that matter?
Right.
Everything we do is for profit. The thing is, well, I don't know. You explain. Did I argue that appropriately?
I think you did a great job. The only thing that I would say was missing from your points was letting the other side of the argument dictate the morality of the situation. And this is something that Republicans are often guilty of. As we get backed into a corner by the left, who sometimes suggest that, a profit motive, for example, and there's a lot of other topics in politics we can get into, but somehow that a profit motive is immoral. And you've got to push back right away and say, no, the alternative is immoral. Because capitalism is nothing but freedom. It is the free exchange of goods and services by willing participants who are doing it voluntarily. Mm-hmm. Because presumably, they benefit in some way. You have a product, you want to sell it. I don't have that product. I have money. I want to buy it. We make each other happy. And no one's forcing each other, either party, to be involved. When you start to engage the government, though, and the government starts to create price controls or price gouging legislation or something like that, you're applying force to one side of that transaction, and it's no longer free. And in my opinion, it becomes immoral because now the government is taking somebody's side at the detriment of the other.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for reminding me about that. You do have to attack the premise right off the bat and get things straightened out.
Indeed, and I think that Republicans really need to learn our material better. I'm so worried about the Republican Party across the country, and in particular in Connecticut, because we're giving up ground to the Democrats all the time. The Democrat Party, you have to admire the fact that they stick to fighting for their agenda at all costs, no matter what. It doesn't matter if they just won a landslide election or they're about to lose everything. They keep fighting for their agenda day in and day out. And Republicans, many of them forego our agenda, our desire to see a world with more freedom and opportunity, in exchange for trying to react, rather, to the opposition and get elected. With the argument is, we got to get elected first, Rob, and then we can fix the world. We should be trying to sell our ideas to the people of this state and country and remind them, they're the same ideas that made this country great.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that because I wanted to ask you about the U.S. Senate debate, the Republican side, the other night. Did you happen to see the three candidates going at it?
I did not watch the debate. I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I would have been pulling my hair out.
It's not. I can't criticize the decision, Rob, but I just thought it was interesting how I'm just going to grab a cut and hope it's Themis here. So the Leora Levy and Peter Lamage both are making a conservative argument, not equally credibly, I don't think, but they both are, and that leaves Themis having to stake out a position for herself, and I think I've got the cut here.
Thank you. I have won 11 elections in this state in a Democrat-leaning district, and that's important because Connecticut is a Democrat-leaning state.
So she's basically taking the position that we've already lost this thing because we never make our argument. The only thing that works is, what are you going to give me for free?
And she's also arguing that she's lost her district to the Democrats. You know, it's like, well, I've become a Democrat because the
yes,
district is Democrat. So
I've gone over to the dark side. Yeah.
Yeah, no, trust me, I tell you, I mean, I try not to get engaged in primary politics too much. And you know, generally speaking, as a good Republican, I want to support whoever the winner of that primary is. But in that race, there are quite a few people in the race, but there are only two legitimate candidates who actually care about Republican principles and values, and they are Leora Levy and Peter Lamage. And I would encourage people to vote for either one of them. They're good people. I've known Peter for a long time. I nominated him at the Republican convention, as a matter of fact, and I know he will stand by his conservative principles no matter what happens. And,
well, that's what's beautiful. So I've got a little Peter cut for you. This is Peter Lamage.
Look, from 2006 to present, the Republican Party has lost every statewide election. There are two reasons for that. The party always nominated their favorite, and the nominees were afraid to be Republicans. I'm not afraid to be a Republican. I'm a conservative. I'm the only one who's an unwavering conservative, never changed my position.
He says, I'm the only conservative in the race. And it's such a beautiful thing to be able to say.
Exactly. Speaking my language, I come from the same exact place. I love my country. I love my Republican Party. I'm not afraid to hold on to its positions and defend them every chance I get. And it's because I believe, Todd, with every fiber of my being, that if I'm in a fair fight and I get to get my points out as equal time with the opposition, I'm going to win. The people are going to see it my way. People are going to choose freedom over force. They're going to choose capitalism over socialism. They're not going to adopt William Tong's view of price gouging. You know, they're going to take Thomas Jefferson's view instead.
It's an amazing thing, because what you're saying is true, and that is that really nobody argues on behalf of the founders' vision of these things, on what conservative values are and what market values are. Markets are the key to everything that works, and every other idea leads to destruction.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. Rob Sampson is here, state senator from Wolcott. We'll whatever you want to tell us that you've been thinking about doing this summer, we'll get when we continue. That all right, Rob?
Sounds great.
All right, stay with us on WTIC. Sampson, we'll do more after Rob. After the bottom of the hour news, we'll talk more about the ticket thing, the $5,000 Bruce Springsteen ticket, and whether that price is fair or not, and who you would pay. Who would you pay that kind of money for? You have somebody, Rob, who you would pay $5,000 to see?
No, but I'm I'm an oddball, I guess.
No, I don't think you are. I think most people wouldn't.
CD.
What's that?
I'd rather just buy the CD or download the music than spend that kind of money to go to a concert.
Stream it for free. So what have you been thinking about? Whenever I talk to you, you're too busy to talk because you're so busy trying to make a living in addition to your state Senate work. So what have you been doing over the summer?
Indeed. Well, I have been doing that. I've been trying to make a living so I can continue to go back to the State House and fight for American principles and values and be the voice of reason of conservative principles about freedom and liberty at the Capitol. And it's just one of those things where you gotta work your butt off during the summer so you can make the money to go back. But one thing I wanted to talk about, Todd, was that I've been noticing a lot in the news media, even on the radio programs, that there seems to be this trend towards, well, these are Republican issues. If we're talking about Republicans, and these are Democrat issues. And Republicans seem to be focused on inflation, rising cost of living, and crime. And I think those are good issues, and I think Republicans should continue to run on them, for the November election. But I also don't think we should give up the other issues, which is what it seems to be happening. The Democrats are embracing the battle over guns and the battle over abortion, and they're wrong on those things, too. So I think it's completely fair game to go after them on all of it. Lamont,
what's your
Greenwich Times today?
What's that?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, that's all right. Go ahead. I was thinking there was a moment to slip in, but you saw something in the Greenwich Times?
Yeah, Lamont was in the Greenwich Times today, heavily quoted about his gun control agenda, assuming he's reelected. And it's scary. I mean, it really, really is. He's making it quite clear that he intends on proposing and passing more gun control in the state of Connecticut, where I don't know, we may have the most gun control in the whole country already. And not only is he saying he wants to do more gun control, he's also saying he does not care about the Constitution. He does not care about the court of law. He doesn't care about our principles or our American value system. He says, I will challenge this stuff in the courts if I have to. We've got to stop this guy in his tracks. And, people always say elections have consequences. This is a huge one for Connecticut. If Republicans cannot dig ourselves out of the hole we've been in for 40 years in these circumstances, where it's being handed to us really on a platter, then we have bigger problems.
Hey, what's up? It's the boys from Bit Season, and today's show is sponsored by SeatGeek.
And if you don't know what SeatGeek is, they're a ticketing app that makes buying tickets super simple. We've all got the app on our phones. Use code BITSEASON for $20 off tickets at SeatGeek.
3M Science is everywhere. It's the fall protection harness that helps keep rescue workers like new safe at any altitude, so he can get home safe. It's VAC therapy, helping Dr. Apong help grandmas like Nana in their wound healing journey, so she can get back to her family. It's helping underrepresented students like Samantha gain access to STEM education, so they can reimagine what's possible. See how 3M is applying science to life to help people everywhere at 3m.com/3mscience.
Do you have a bank account, a credit card, or a rideshare app? Do you have a loved one in a nursing home? Then you've almost certainly agreed to a forced arbitration clause hidden in the fine print. Corporations use the secretive system of forced arbitration to escape accountability. If a company rips you off, defrauds you, or hurts you or someone you love, you can't file a case against them in court. Instead, you're stuck in forced arbitration with no other choice.